Philadelphia. I'm Bruce Buffer. It's time for the Anthony Gorgano Show.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Happy Wednesday across the Delaware Valley. This is the Anthony Gargano Show presented by Rite Aid. Get all your scripts, all of your needs, fall needs, whatever it is at riteaid.com. All right, lots to get to today. We've reached that point in the week, Wednesday, where it's a look ahead already. Like, what's next? What are they going to do against Tampa? The roster moves as they try to figure out how to navigate without A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith against the Buccaneers, who are coming off a big loss. So right off the bat, there's this kind of angst heading into Sunday. Now, let's back up for a moment. I was at dinner last night. We went to the saloon, and there's a bunch of people. And the talk, I always judge what we're talking about in town, like when I'm out. And I just love to get in conversations with people. And it was all about Nick Sirianni, right? Like, he dominated the conversation. As much as I was like, yo, it's Red October, and everybody can't wait, right? Like, so they can't wait for Red October. But Nick dominated the conversation yesterday. And what happens? Like, there is so much unknown with this team. I'm going to tell you right now, they likely lose Sunday. It's not, they're an underdog, so it's not like I'm going out on a limb. But you got a bye week that actually now looks very promising. The fact that it's an early bye, at first we didn't like it, but now you see the merits in it because you can get healthy. So let's just go with this premise that they lose Sunday, they're 2-2, and then the bye happens. And so you're 2-2, and you got a fresh start. You'll have 13 games after the bye. There's plenty of time. When you look at the landscape of the NFC, there's plenty of time to get this thing going. There's plenty of talent. When you add A.J. Brown back to this offense, and Lane Johnson and Devontae Smith, you're back to being this offensive juggernaut. Like, the minute A.J. Brown comes back, you look at this offense, you go, it should roll. They should put up a lot of points. Remember, against Green Bay, you got to the 30s. When they come back, they should be good. And you look at this defense and how well it played. Right? It played really, really, give all credit to Fangio, because I thought he devised a plan that really worked, right? They completely took away the Saints' run game. You saw Zach Bond. Like, he's been the story. Like, if you get Jalen Carter, look, maybe he doesn't dominate every game, but he's a talented game wrecker of a force from that side of the football. So if you got Jalen Carter playing the way he did, life from Jordan Davis. I'm not saying he's going to play, 60 snaps, but you get life from Jordan Davis. You got Zach Bond, who showed you he's a player. The secondary, I feel good about. I love Kenyon Mitchell. He's only going to get better and better and better. So now all of a sudden you look at the defense, you go, well, they're not as vulnerable as maybe we thought they were a couple weeks ago as the Falcons are driving down the field, right? A week ago Monday. So I'm looking at this thing going, they can get right. This thing, there's a feeling, a vibe, and I heard it a million times last night. When Sirianni get fired? I don't think Jeffrey Lurie fires him during the season, even if it does go bad. And I don't think it's going to go bad. I'm not sitting here telling you, hey, they're a Super Bowl team right now. But I'm telling you, I still think they can win 10 games and win the division. I mean, we've seen the flaws in the Cowboys, right? There's no reason why the Eagles can't win the division. And I look at them, things have to come together. Their offense is still their offense. The decision-making from the coach, at some point has to correct itself. I'm hoping, right? Or the offense is basically idiot proof. Like if you add A.J. Brown back into the fold, does that mean their offense is idiot proof? Assuming they do the right thing by running the football, right? That you're going to run Barkley. The only thing that scares me going forward, the biggest thing that scares me going forward is any injuries. And I don't mean like, season enders. I mean, like, can you afford to go without Barkley for 3 or 4 games? We already saw A.J. Brown not here is a problem. Saquon Barkley missing some games, that's a problem, right? So health is so important because the drop-off is dramatic after those guys. So that's an issue. And that's where, again, the coaching would come more into play. So as it's constructed, I got to believe, I think it's premature to talk about whether he gets fired or not. That thing will play out. I don't think this season is lost as we sit here. And I'm not giving you, and I know I can be Mr. Homer. I'm not giving you that right now. I'm just giving you, I look at it, and when I study the league, I try to do it the right way. And I could see them being in it, winning the division. I still see it. So let's discuss it. Got lots to get to. Jeff McLane from the Inquirer will join us straight up at 10. We'll have Bob Nightengale from USA Today, baseball writer, great baseball writer, going to join us 10:30. And we got the Armentani Brothers, who are a fascinating story. They're the guys, DJs from the Northeast, that put together the playlist for the Phillies. Stubbs, he deployed them to create the playlists. So we'll get you ready for Red October as well today. Good morning, my boys. JP, John Sabata, VG, Vales, Greg Caputo. All right. Is it premature to say that things going to go sideways and blow up? Greg.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, I'm not Nick's number 12th fan. Not a fan at all. But you look at the schedule, I still think they're an 11-16, barring an injury to Barkley or a season-ending injury to A.J. Brown. I think they've made the team Sirianni-proof, and I think they're good.
Well, interesting you said Sirianni-proof when in my opening I called it idiot-proof.
Yeah, right. Well, they're synonyms.
I caught that.
They're synonyms.
I caught that from you.
Yeah.
I don't believe that, but I get.
You don't think it's foolproof?
No, I do think it's. I don't think he's an idiot. I think he's stressing. I think Sirianni right now is stressing. I think that the role is undefined, and I feel like he's swimming in his role as CEO coach. Right?
Yeah.
We already know that he has nothing to do with the defense. Right? He didn't have anything to do with defense last year. Right? He's an offensive guy, but here he is an offensive guy, and Kellen Moore is in there. And I know he came in, I called that play, and it was my decision. Well, head coaches do that all the time. I don't know if he called the play or not, because head coaches will do that to take, that's their job. And listen, in the end, it does come back on you because he's your guy, and that's the decision. So you're the head guy. You're always going to get looked at. I don't know what he does.
Well, I think as far as smarts comes, he's a guy who knows twice play calling's been taken away from him pretty much.
Twice? What do you mean?
The first year, it was the second year when Steichen took over play calling.
Yeah, he gave it up.
Okay. Well, I mean, he had to relinquish control twice of play calling. So he's aware of this.
He didn't call the plays last year.
No, I get you. But I'm just saying twice.
There was no twice.
No, he was involved last year. Come on.
Okay, I'm just telling you. Again, he didn't call. Is it collaborative to the point of, hey man, maybe we could do that or do that? Yeah, sure. But actually calling plays, he didn't do it, right? Like now, it's not even his offense. Last year was his offense, right? Last year was his vision, his offense that ran from 2022. This year's not his offense. As much as it's a meld, or they say it's a meld, it's a Kellen Moore production.
Yeah.
But as much, I'm just saying, as far as smarts and reading the room, he knows that there's been questions about his play calling over the years. To try and think that that's the right thing to do and say, that was my play, he very well could have said, yeah, I was on board. Kellen's play, I was on board. I'm behind it 100%.
No coach is ever going to say that it's not, oh, yeah, it was Kellen's play. The minute that comes out, it's like you're passing a buck. He would never say that. You can't. It's irrelevant.
I mean, no one's believing him.
It's irrelevant. In anyway, my point to you is he's completely flailing right now. He's a guy in the deep end of the pool who's not a strong swimmer, who's paddling, right? Like he's paddling to stay afloat. And you can see it.
Yeah.
Because the decision to go for it was his decision, right? Like I believe it's his decision. I don't believe he called the play. I believe it was his decision. And it was a bad decision. It was nonsensical, right? But what happens when you're flailing? You make decisions that aren't smart, right? Because you're not thinking it through. You're pressing. You're trying to hit a grand slam. He's trying to get 7.
Yep, exactly.
Like, I got to get 7. I got to get 7.
Yeah.
Passing up 3s. Why? Because he needs 7. Because he feels like he's got to get a touchdown.
You're spot on, cuz. I talked about it on Monday. It feels like Jalen's playing hero ball. Sirianni's coaching hero ball, right? And so, like, he's trying to do that extra stuff when he doesn't necessarily need to. But to your point, I do feel confident because although we haven't been too comfortable with Kellen Moore's play calls over the first 3 games, you could tell, like, this offense has looked much better with Kellen Moore in the first 3 weeks, even when missing some weapons. And on the other side of the football, Vic Fangio last week really showed us something. And so I'm feeling much more comfortable.
I think their offense, to your point, JP, their offense, it goes back to being foolproof, right? Like they have ability. You look at them, and with Barkley and when AJ Brown's in there, I don't know how you not score.
Yeah.
Kellen talked yesterday, and there are things that bothered me about him talking about this whole play call thing. So he's all about this collaborative approach. And he says, I think we have a really fun collaborative group on staff. I don't care if they're fun. And Nick is certainly part of that, he says. Collaborative approach was the team's goal upon my hiring. So we know. All right, it was Nick's offense last year. Not great. He's had to play it. Like, we don't need Nick. Why would the team tell Kellen this has to be a collaborative effort? Stress that with Nick involved. We were told Nick's just popping his head in the room, and we were all happy with that. Right?
Wasn't it always like that?
I think you take things too literal. And first of all, rule one, don't believe press conferences. All right,
but it's weird to say that was a goal upon his hiring.
Dude,
there's always gonna be fluff.
It's not just fluff. It's nonsense. Like people talk. There's a whole coaches lie. It's like I can't express to you how many times I go, oh, that's nonsense. Right, the whole thing. Do I believe in the collaborative approach to this particular instance? Yeah, I do believe that they feel like that because what else are you other than a guy holding the wires?
That's what we were hoping for. I mean, like that. Isn't that the CEO guy though?
Holding the wires?
Tomlin involved in a collaborative approach? You think?
Well, when it comes to the decisions of the game,
yeah.
No, but I mean, in the offense during the week and going through scenarios and stuff. I don't know. It didn't feel like this CEO.
He's not. No, the OC. Listen, Tomlin comes from a special teams background, right? So he leans probably more defense. Is he calling any plays offense? No, he's not, right? And there's quite a few guys like that. But it feels like Sirianni is swimming in that role.
Yeah.
It does. It feels like he's struggling.
I don't know why. Here's an Athlon Sports headline. This is after win. Pressure mounts for NFL team to dismiss head coach despite win on Sunday.
What's this from?
It's from Athlon Sports. One of the NFL's best teams is under pressure to fire its head coach after a win in week 3. Like, dude, only in Philadelphia.
So many people
I
out,
went
man.
when I'm at dinner later, so we're at the saloon.
Yeah, nice. Good bar upstairs. Lots of good wood at the saloon.
Yes. It's a Philadelphia treasure.
Yeah.
It really is. Philadelphia treasure. The whole talk was to fire him.
I know.
It was unbelievable, right? Like, it's unbelievable. The whole conversation was, he's got to get fired.
Because it's real.
Chris, my mailman, he's like, what are they going to do about Sirianni? He's a problem.
Everybody to him, man. And it's unbelievable.
They want him out.
The conversation and the fact that this is off of a win.
Yeah, he's lucky Taijuan's here. He'd be the least popular sports guy in town if Taijuan wasn't around.
I still think he beats out Walker. I think that people just go, all right, whatever. It was a bullpen game. Here's what's amazing about Taijuan, though. The minute he gave up a six-pack in literally 3 seconds. Like, it felt like he's in a game, and it was all of a sudden, bang, 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 bang. It's like fireworks. It's unbelievable.
I had just sat down at the seat because I was running late to the game, and it was just like batting practice. Like, what is going on? Solid shot. The balls were like coming off.
They barrel up. You want to talk about barreled up? You know, it's hard to barrel up Wheeler.
Yeah.
It's pretty easy to barrel up.
Swing with tree trunks yesterday.
As the kids would say, he's cooked.
But I have a little ounce of sympathy and respect for the guy, man. There's no way I'm coming out in inning 3. My oblique would be so flared up. I'd be like, Topper is gone, man.
My oblique.
Here he comes.
Yeah.
Taking up some innings.
It's so interesting, isn't it? It's so interesting. Getting back to the Eagles, this whole situation and where it's headed.
He almost lost Sunday.
I mean,
that's where it was coming from.
He's in a no-win situation.
I know.
If they win, it's not going to be him, and if they lose, it's definitely him. And sometimes if they win ugly, it's him. So he's in a win-lose-lose situation.
I know.
There's no way out of it for him.
I guess we all should have saw it, right? Like the minute he comes back, stripped of any kind of power. How many times did I say to you, how does an offensive guy take a seat? What did we hear going into this season? That he was poking his head in on meetings.
Yeah. That warmed my heart. Nicky poking in.
So awkward.
Like he wasn't a part of it.
Right.
Like if it's collaborative, he's a part of it. But that's why that's a lie. Because they already told you he wasn't a part of it.
I'll be curious to see what Jeff says later on in the show, because Jeff's down there and Jeff's been prodding them with really good hard-hitting questions.
No, but you get my point.
No, I get what you're saying.
Did they not say that he was not a part of the offense, that he was poking his head in?
We heard that, yes.
Well, they flat out said it.
I don't know if they said he's poking
in the Humana story, you're saying?
That he was poking his head in.
Yeah.
And how's that collaborative?
Right. Maybe things have changed. I don't know. I'm so confused by this all. I think we're all confused.
Maybe Jalen doesn't want him there.
You may not be. But us normal fans.
Well, I said about fans.
I just about everything.
Well, listen, I'm not telling you shouldn't be confused. There is an air of confusion. But it's more about, and this is the story that came out about Sirianni before the season.
Right.
I mean, the minute that there's issues with him and Hurts and the offense is that, now they're stripping away that, I just don't know how it works. I don't know how it plays out. We said that earlier. And then the only thing he's responsible for, which is decision-making, like fourth down, punt, field goal.
It's been going swimmingly well.
Right? Has been a disaster.
Disaster.
And it was bizarre. And I still think, despite all this stuff, they can actually win a division.
I would bet that. I'll bet that they win the division.
Yeah.
I don't think there's anyone else going to take the division. You feel good about
everything else on this team besides Nick Sirianni.
I mean, I've said it all along. I think they win the division. I think playoff time they're going to get a little outcoached and exposed. Yes, and I think that's what's going to happen.
Listen, I could totally see that. But if you win a division, I almost think that they would win it on talent alone. And again, that's assuming, because I really believe this, that God forbid something happened to Barkley for a few games, or again, one of the receivers. We saw how much that hurts the offense.
Yeah. I mean, the most average of quarterbacks should be successful behind this line with a healthy A.J. Brown and Saquon Barkley.
Yeah, but they also need to realize
with Rich
their
Kotite
identity.
as the offensive coordinator, whoever you want, this offense should roll and be fine.
I got to be honest with you. I'm not overly impressed with Kellen Moore either. I mean,
No.
I look at what he's done, and I go, all right.
I don't think he does anything great.
Here's what I want, and here's what I think saves everything.
Mm-hmm.
Just look at who you are.
Yeah.
Run the ball downhill. You have a great offensive line. Know thyself, as Charlie Manuel says, and I have repeatedly said this week. Run the ball, right? You're a downhill running team. Then it's so much easier to take shots. Then you get all your weapons
Do a little
involved.
play action work.
The horizontal stuff is out. All right? Teams have figured out how to stop you horizontally. Now time to run the ball and go vertical.
Yeah, and that's been my point. Like, it may not be that high, that flashy offense that everyone probably anticipated. But I even look at the second half of Sunday. Like, I thought his play call was better, and you saw him implement more Saquon, and you saw how he took over. And Dallas Goedert
That's not
involved
by
too.
choice. That was by the
sure.
hand they were forced.
For sure.
Well, and exactly, because you went, well, where was Goddard? I was asking the question leading up to the game. Like, come on, man. Where's Goddard down the field? What did I call him? A seam monster. Sea monster, SEAM, monster, right?
Mm-hmm.
Down the field.
Yeah.
I said that going into the game. Where was he? And they finally used him because they had to. Now, what sense does that make?
Right.
That you waited? Like, people go, oh, Dallas Goedert's overrated. Well, is it him? Is it that? Or is it the fact that they don't run any plays for their freaking tight end who's actually good?
So the interesting thing, too, is that when they finally do get Goddard to go off for 150 yards, it's when teams are going to be keying on him because he's the only real option of a threat in the passing game. So if you have A.J. Brown and Devontae are healthy, he should be able to put up 150 yards every week.
We should find out this week because you may not have Devontae and AJ again.
I know. All right, JP, take over. Give me a little Ace is the place.
The helpful hardware folks. Ladies and gentlemen, let's talk about Ace Hardware. Obviously, listen, the Eagles may have to do a little makeshift this week. We're missing all of our weapons, and you may have to as well when fixing up your home. Whatever be inside or outside, it is getting a little cold, so you may want to be quick when doing those outdoor repairs. So you want to make sure you keep your friendly neighborhood Ace Hardware because they have everything you need to fix your home. And even better, if you're like myself, a little bit lazy, but more so the fact that I am not a trained professional. All right. So what Ace Hardware has is actual trained professionals that will come out to your home and do the fixing here for you. Everything you need, they got it. All right. Got a leaky pipe? Ace Hardware Home Services, they are just around the block with everything you need to fix it, including the person to do the fixing. Got an air conditioning issue, or listen, we're getting close to that cold season. You may need to fix those heaters. It's been a while since those heaters been ran. You may need to fix that. Ace Hardware has the person for it. Got a faucet you said that needs fixing last year? Well, you can fix it this year with the right person over at Ace Hardware. Right now, ladies and gentlemen, visit Ace Hardware Home Services online at acehardwarehomeservices.com to get your next home project started. And shouts to our friends over at Ace Hardware. And while we're at it, we're talking about fixing our homes up, right? We're going to get some lot of indoor home parties. You're going to have your friends over, family over. That old hardwood floor, it needs replacing. Yes, I'm being honest with you. You need to fix it. So why not with our friends over at Empire Today? They are the best. And with Empire Today, you get at-home convenience, the right product for your needs, quick professional installation, and a price match guarantee. Empire Today is the best place to get the new flooring. So, of course, they have copycats, but they can't beat Empire Today on quality, service, speed. So others will advertise low-quality products that Empire Today simply will not carry. And Empire Today won't promise those lowest prices because anyone who does that is putting flooring in their home that they just won't put in theirs. And they will not do that to you. All right? So what are you waiting for? Schedule a free in-home estimate today. All of our listeners will get, listen to this, a $350 off discount. That's a lot of money. $350 in today's age. Oh, yeah. This discount, when you use the promo code PHLY. All right. So schedule your in-home estimate today. Use that promo code PHLY. Just keep in mind restrictions do apply and head on over to empiretoday.com/PHLY for more details. And of course, thank you to our friends over at Empire
Today.
AG, come on. Don't let Kellen Moore get you
What
down.
is up with you?
I'm very frustrated with this team. They depress me. I don't want to be talking about this. I want to be talking about a great win.
Well, you'll be talking about
all these
Red
good
October.
energies.
You'll be talking about Red
injuries.
October.
He wants to dance on his own.
Well, that's happening.
And I just sat through a Taijuan Walker game.
Yeah, it's
what I
not-
mean,
that's
that's
not
depressing
fun.
too. I mean,
That
I
wasn't depressing.
It is.
Stop. I
know what I'm
mean,
getting into,
come
but-
on. I heard that last night too. You can't give away games.
No,
I mean, you're not going to win every game.
I don't care about that.
But,
I'm depressed. I paid $80.
They're going to get the
$80.
They're going to get at least the 2 seed.
Yeah, it's just like seeing him up there. I feel bad for the guy. I mean, the guy he doesn't have it at all.
Do we see?
You feel bad for who? Walker?
I mean,
Stop.
Can't have a soft spot
Makes
for
a lot of money.
Taiwan.
He's all right.
I want to sit and watch the playoffs with
Mickey
Taiwan.
Man won't care about you. All right? Worry about Taijuan Walker. You kid, he stinks. Listen, he's getting paid. All right? It is what it
Handsomely.
is. He's not going to be on the playoff roster. You know, it is. It's
he's
done.
the dude in the group project did nothing and got the A.
Yeah, well, I mean, he is. It is. That's what it is. What are you down about?
I don't know.
Talk to us. We're your therapists.
You know,
VJ.
I don't know. It just doesn't feel. It doesn't feel fun. It should feel fun. They're 2-1. They're going to go into this break 2-2, which isn't terrible. And the rest of the line, the rest of the season, it's a good schedule for them.
It is.
I know.
That's why my whole
they come out
premise
against
is
Cleveland
they
at
can
home.
still win the division.
Cleveland at home, they got the shot. I mean,
Listen.
just smoke them.
Well, yeah, I mean the Giants just beat them.
Yeah.
So the point is that they could easily. I still think they win the division.
Yeah.
They always start off slow
buck
too.
up, man.
They always
You
start off
got to
slow.
look at the Sirianni situation more like
I gotta find
with Gallows
humor.
humor.
I need to find humor in it. If I don't find humor in it, I'm
listen,
done.
there is a lot of humor to be involved with.
I know. I don't want to always pick at them, though.
Well,
I guess for self-preservation, I may have to.
listen, just go with Saquon. All right, Saquon is a great story.
He is.
That's an uplifting story.
Until I see a read option, first play of the game.
I know. Well, that's your
Then
boy.
you're like,
That's your boy Kellen.
Go sign a
Was
fullback.
like, dude,
downhole
but
line.
understand who you are. All right, you want fun? I got
Yes.
fun.
What you got?
This is a great story. All right, I got 3 brothers.
Northeast.
Yes,
Yeah.
your paisans.
Some Neds.
The Armentani Brothers. Are you ready? George, Jimmy, and Johnny. Now, they went to Holy Ghost. They played baseball at Drexel. Right?
Fancy boys, that Holy Ghost stuff.
All right. And listen, this is the best. They're DJs. And Stubbs contacted them to create a playlist for the Phillies.
Wow.
This is such a great story. Let's welcome them to the program, the Armentani Brothers.
Yeah.
What's up, brothers?
Hey guys,
What's up?
what's
How's
going
that going?
on?
What a
Thanks for
story.
having us.
This is such a great story. First of all, who's the oldest? George?
Me. Yep, George.
George,
Nice to meet you.
I'll start
I'm the
with
oldest
you. What
here.
a pleasure, brother. What a pleasure. How did this whole thing start? First of all, how did you guys become? I love that hoodie, man. That's a great hoodie. How did this whole
thanks.
thing start with you guys DJing together?
Yeah, so I've been doing it since I'm 28. I've been doing it since I was 14 or so in high school. So I would go around like trying to petition to do it set at the high school dances, or once I got to college, I would do all the college bars and sell tickets to play shows. And then my brothers started doing it shortly after me because they just took an interest in doing what their older brother did. And we always kind of had this idea of one day, once everyone was, a little bit older, like Johnny was getting to college, that we would start the trio, the Armentani Brothers. And we did it right before COVID. It started to take off, and then COVID happened, and we used that to our advantage. We made a lot of music, we made a lot of content. And then after COVID, we came out of COVID strong, and we're lucky enough to be able to tour a little bit with our music, do a couple college shows. But really, the coolest thing has been this opportunity with the Phillies. So we're super lucky to have this chance, and I'm glad that the guys like our stuff.
Oh my God, it's fantastic. Hey, first of all, you guys are big, man. Listen, God bless you that you guys put together. I love the fact that 3 brothers combined, collab to work together. And I just think that's a great story. I love it. Jimmy, what's this whole thing mean Well, or as far as Phillies, like you guys love the Phillies. You guys play. Did all three of you play baseball at Drexel?
Yeah, so we all played baseball there, and then we played at Holy Ghost. And we're baseball guys through and through. I mean, we're those MLB Network guys, just MLB junkies. We're always watching every day and watching every Phillies game. So just to be part of the whole experience in general, it kind of still feels surreal. And I mean, it like I was saying in other interviews and whatnot. I mean, there's like hundreds and hundreds of followers every couple minutes pouring in on social media, Twitter, Instagram, and the Philly faithful, fans and media, everyone. So we're just so lucky to have such a good support system with our family and friends, and also our new Philadelphia Phillies family that's joined us with the journey.
Well, you know how it is, right? Like in Philadelphia, we love our own, right? Like we're proud. Like I love. There's nothing I love more than one of our people succeeds in anything, whether it's the arts, sports, business. I love the fact, and your story is fantastic. John, who is the best of the baseball players of the three of you guys?
Oh, come on. Why do you give me the hardest question out of all of
I
them?
got it.
You're throwing them
You
layups.
got the coolest look.
You got a
You got the
Sirianni
shirt,
gold chain.
right? The chain out,
You're,
right?
you're throwing them layups, and then you come over here asking me that. I mean, not to get anyone mad. If I say myself, then I'll
I
get
knew
both
you
of
were
them
going to
mad.
do it. That was why I asked you. Because
He's the
No,
young
no,
one.
no.
It's probably me. That's fantastic.
No. We're all good. We all have our own things. We're all good. We're all good. The overview.
All right, so John, I'll give you the layup. So tell
Let's
us
see.
about Stubbs and tell us the relationship and how that thing fostered.
I mean, it kind of started as like, super sick and MLB players reaching out to you. They want to work with you. Our favorite team wants to do it. It's like surreal. And then as it went on, it was more like we kind of just became friends. And like it didn't even feel like, I was with an MLB player whenever he was there. There were a few times where, he came to our apartment and we worked on the mix together. We went out for dinner, whatever it was. And it's just like it feels fake, but it's a super cool experience, and over time it just fostered into an actual friendship and like a relationship opposed to like a business like hey, this is a famous MLB player like type of relationship.
That's awesome. So here it is, George. Stubbs is coming over to like, hey, let's get some work done on the playlist. Like, are you kidding me? I mean, I heard it in John's voice how surreal that is.
Oh yeah, that was pretty cool. Just we started out with a couple DMs back and forth about the idea and a FaceTime, and then by the end of it, we were going to McGillen's together and working on the mix in our apartment and working on stuff there. So it's he's an awesome dude. He's everything you imagine Garrett Stubbs being, and you imagine the players on the Phillies being. They're just like that when you meet them in real life. So it's really cool that we cheer for a team that has such like incredible guys and guys who love the city as much as we love the city.
Isn't it like one of the things that's so great about them is they embrace it. Bryce, Schwarber, all of them, every to a man, right? The fact that they love Philadelphia, like it starts with Bryce, and that they embrace the fans. It's such an awesome thing. That's rare. Like, you see it, it's rare. I mean, we were just talking about the Eagles and Sirianni saying, well, nobody believed in our offense, which is all nonsense. And
Don't get me started on them.
it's like everybody loves, this town loves you, right? Wants to be in. And this group of Phillies, it's what makes them special is that they're as into it as we are. Right, Jimmy?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I feel.
Oh no.
Did it go? All right.
You're back.
No, I feel like definitely overall, we have a special group, and we're really excited that we're able to kind of encompass all the vibes of what's going on in the season, kind of with the post-win mix and in general. And we do feel like a duty to the city and to kind of make sure we're curating the vibes with Garrett and the overall locker room feeling.
So what was the mindset going in? All right, so John, you know the assignment. So how does that start with creating? Like when you guys are getting together, how's the process begin, and what was your mindset going into it?
Well, first of all, I accidentally put this whole screen on me, so I can't see anyone right now. So that's where I'm at. I'm trying to figure this out, but no, but
George,
aside from
he's
that,
a handful, George.
He's funny dude. He's a funny dude.
no, but sorry, repeat the repeat the
No,
question. I was trying to
how do
figure.
you start to do it? So you got the assignment, and he goes, all right, create a playlist. What do you do?
I mean, a lot of it happened with like us working with them. So they had like a shit ton of requests and like different songs that they wanted to hear, and then we kind of just put our own spin on it. So they kind of left that creativity up to us, whether it was putting in sound bites or making a mashup or an edit for a certain song and adding in other songs that they trusted us with, just knowing like their personal preference and genre that they have. So over time, we had our first version, and then after our first version, because this is a work in progress, it didn't just release with the playoffs. This is something that's been going on with every win this season. So it's released now with the final version, but we've had about 6 versions of it. So it was just a matter of, working with them, seeing what songs they wanted, making our own edits to these songs, making the mix, and then getting feedback, and then remaking the mix, remaking parts of the mix and different edits. So it was like a whole work in progress throughout the season. So it's a culmination of a lot of hard work. Yeah. It's not just, hey, this last
When
week we
did he
made a
reach
mix.
out to you? At what point did he reach out?
Was it spring training? Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah,
George.
it was right before spring training. He shot us a text, and then we hopped on a FaceTime. He told us about the idea, and we immediately saw the vision, and then we ran with it all season with him.
Hey, Georgie, how did he find you guys? He just said knew about you guys?
Yeah, I guess. Well, I think Instagram is where we first had made contact. We're really lucky. A lot of the athletes in the city or people in the city have, supported us as Philly DJs and producers.
Yeah.
And Garrett, being the Phillies DJ, was one of the guys who really took a liking to what we were doing. So he kept in touch, and we kept in touch for the couple of years, or year or so before. And then once he had the idea and he told us about it, we saw the vision right away, and we were ready to make it. So we're happy, watching the videos of the guys dancing and knowing every little part of the mix, and knowing like our remixes and what song is coming next. It was cool. We couldn't stop smiling the other night, and our family was, everyone was calling us and texting us, and it was a surreal moment to see that vision that we started in end of February end up where it was, a few days ago, where the guys were celebrating. So hopefully many more clips of that to come in the next few weeks.
Yeah, man. You got to get ready. I mean, not for nothing, Jimmy, but the postseason, Red October, you're going to be the soundtrack for Red October.
Yeah.
Yeah. Overall, we're really excited to be the soundtrack for Red October, and we already see literally Holy Ghost posted something today, their student government that they're playing it.
See, I was thinking certain parts of it, if they're playing that with all the pictures and kids there.
Yeah. I would like to apologize now to all of my favorite priests over there that are hearing some of the songs. So, love you guys.
Georgie, what was it your guys' idea to do the sound bites, like the Marsh one, the Alvarado one?
Yeah, we had some sound bites in the very original mix, and we did include some older sound bites originally, but then with Garrett's input and our input, we landed on just putting newer sound bites in. So he would text us whenever there was, Stay Loose, Stay Sexy, Jose Alvarado, any type of memes where. Yeah, exactly. I didn't know if we could say that live on the air. So, but
thanks, Georgie.
I got you. But yeah, so anything that the team thought was funny, if they thought there was a meme that was funny, or if there was a saying that happened in the press that they thought was funny, they would text us, and we could add it in tastefully into the mix. And it seems to be one of the big hits of the mix that people really like to see those little fun little quirks there.
Those little touches, I think, makes it gold. It just makes it gold. And I love how you melded. Listen, it's got a, obviously the house music is throughout, but you've melded a lot of different sounds through the whole thing. Was that your
Yeah,
your doing?
that
or?
was the goal, was to really capture their favorite music and their favorite styles of music, but also putting our touch and our flavor on it. And it was challenging, but we got a little bit of everything. We got dance music, some country in there, some hip hop, really whatever the guys wanted, and then we would find a way to work it in there as smoothly as possible. But ultimately, as long as the team liked it, that was the goal, and we were just hoping that Philly reciprocated, and I think they have so far, which has been incredible.
Oh yeah, dude! Oh my God, what's your family saying, Jim? Like, what's everybody saying? Mom and dad, or
Yeah, mom and dad are super happy. Obviously, I mean they feel like celebrity parents. They're like, all my girlfriends are hitting me up, or all my guy friends are hitting me up. And our 92-year-old grandfather is like the happiest man on earth. I know,
Oh, that's great.
when they did an interview yesterday, I know when I called him, he called me. He's like, "I'm just so proud of you." I could literally hear the tears in his eyes, and I could hear him like kind of shedding a tear a little bit. And it's one of those guys you never see kind of shed a tear. He's like a tough Greek guy, like an old Greek guy. He's like the sweetest guy on earth. He's telling all his friends at the diner and everything too when he's out. And
I
he's
love
showing them.
that.
I'm sure he's showing them in the Inquirer today because it's like in the Inquirer. So he probably got like a million newspapers. And because he used to take us down there when we were kids all the time. So he's probably showing it off to all of them over there. So, I mean, just having our family and friends support us, especially like our immediate family, they've been with us through every step of the journey. And we have a really close-knit family. So I'm really happy to, any step of the way or part of the journey, they're always here for us, but especially for a big moment like this, they're so ecstatic, and they're like, "Yeah, I know you're big time now, but I just needed to give you a quick call because I'm always talking to my grandfather during the day, a couple times a day, give him calls, and my parents and whatnot." But I'm like, dude, I'll make time for you anytime. I'm like, I know I'm busy, but I'll make time for you anytime.
That's fantastic. I love it. John, were you guys always a baseball family? Like, I know you guys played it probably growing up and all. Big Phillies family?
100%. 100%. First of all, I figured out how to get everyone back on, so I can see everyone's beautiful face now. I can see it. I figured it out while I wasn't talking. But no, we grew up playing baseball. I mean, I remember I have pictures of me playing t-ball. I was always a little like showboat on the diamond. I have a picture of me when I was like
I
7,
totally
8 years
see
old,
that.
like holding up
George
my
is
bat.
probably trying to stop doing that. Play the game the right way. That's what George is telling
dude,
me.
That's what makes us work.
I took a page out of Ryan Howard's book. I was a big Phillies fan back then, so I held up the bat every at bat. I'm staring down the pitcher. I'm like, I'm your worst enemy. Meanwhile, I'm like a chubby 8-year-old.
Oh, you're unbelievable. I love you. Oh, you're the great. George, he's probably giving you a million headaches over the years.
Oh, more than a million. More than a million.
I've probably given him some back, but we have a fun dynamic. It's we have a lot of fun. We all have the same kind hearts, but all different personalities, and that's, I think, what really makes the trio work and makes us work as brothers.
I think it's great. I mean, I love the story. You guys are a blast. I mean, God bless you guys. I mean, I love it. I just love the whole story. If people want to get a hold of you, what's the best way?
Yeah, I can take a lead on that. Yeah, definitely our social medias, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, really on all of them, TikTok. Also, like on our Spotify, we just released a new single there. So we do our original production on top of like the master-ups and mixes. So we just released our new song, Hold On Tight, with Chris Norman there. I think it's their 9th or 10th original there. So we have a good following on Spotify there with our original music on top of our mashups and mixes on SoundCloud and YouTube and stuff of that sort. But there's already been an outpour of followers, and we thank everyone who's followed us already. But yeah, go follow all the socials to keep up to date with all of them.
What's the handle on Instagram. This way we'll put it up on the screen right now.
At the Armentani Brothers. So like THE, like the Armentani.
Perfect.
I think it's Armentani Bros. At the Armentani Bros. Correct, George?
Yeah, I think it's Bros.
Yeah. At the Armentani
Brothers was too long.
Yeah. Brothers too long. At the Armentani Bros. Or THE. Yeah, THE Armentani Bros. There it is. Like at the Armentani.
Wonderful. I got to tell VG's a music guy. How about these guys are talented, man?
A lot of fun, man. They're like, everyone's geeked up. This is going to be the soundtrack to Red October.
It's
Stacey's
awesome.
mom. Who's Stacey's mom? How'd that get up there? Who wanted that song on there?
Who asked for that?
Well, that's I don't know if it was a direct Aaron Nola request, but he does like his 2000s pop punk is what we were told. And I also love some 2000s pop punk, so I figured that was a good one to put in there.
Nice.
Was there any one that you were like, nah, I don't really want to do that? Like, was there anything? Did you guys like kind of differ creatively on anything? You and the Stubbs?
I don't think so, because even if it was something that we personally wouldn't have added, we knew the goal was to make the mix for the guys to like it. So that was, and we found ways to make it all blend pretty easy. So, but nothing that we didn't like. I think we enjoyed making it and whatever's in there.
I gotta tell you,
is there one song on there where Stubbs like, this is going to be the new Dancing on My Own for this year? This is the one we want for our anthem?
Sunshine, probably.
Sunshine?
But I don't want to say that for him. I don't want to say it for him. The media's gonna. They're gonna get me. They're gonna get me. Shouldn't open my mouth. They're gonna get me. They're gonna get me. No, he never even said it. I just think, like, based on reactions and considering that's the song that's gone like absolutely viral with like the Trump Kamala bit, like that everyone's hearing, like within the soundbite. Like, I mean, that's gotten hundreds and thousands of likes over the last 2 days.
Guys, you are a blast. We're so proud of you, man. You're fantastic. I got to thank you so much for hanging with us.
And thank you for having us.
We got to get you back during when the playoffs start, like to get some good mojo.
100%. I was gonna say, when are we getting you guys to the show? We need some more handsome guys at the show.
Dude, you guys got to come in and hang with us. We're on 10th and Spring Garden.
Please.
All right.
Please,
I'll be there.
Yeah. In fact, we need an opening. We need an opening.
We do need an opening.
So maybe you guys can come up with an opening for the show.
I love that.
All right.
Might not be able to afford them now.
Yeah. you guys are
We'll make it work.
Thank you so much, boys. Listen, great job.
No, I appreciate you guys.
Hey, thank you guys.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for having us, boys. We'll see you soon.
Sounds
go
great,
Phillies.
buddies.
Go Phillies.
Go Phillies.
Yeah, go Phillies.
Go
That's
Phillies.
right. George, Jimmy, and John, the Armentani brothers. What a blast. I love those kids, man.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I was playing their set before the show today.
Were you really?
Yeah,
Yeah,
It's
that's
got me
awesome.
going.
John got a little Massimo vibe to him?
Yes. How'd you know?
Come on, man.
Oh, showtime.
A lot of neck, DJ. A lot of neck.
I'm looking at John. I guess George is 28. Jimmy's 26, 25. John's 22. And I'm listening to John, and I'm going, that's Massimo. Because my youngest is Mr. Showtime, Mr. Big Mouth. And I'm like, dude, stop it. Right? And Anthony's just like George, looking at him like, shut up.
Right.
You know.
Maslo's gonna be a neck guy when he
He's
goes
got to
out.
have it. Yeah. Oh, yeah. The gold cleats, stop. All right. Little Dion. Give me a break.
Prime time, baby.
All right. Well, okay. We're gonna have Brad. You're gonna tell. Okay.
Brad's coming. Brad's parking the yacht.
And then I'll
We're a
be
little behind getting in the dock.
put in a pick real quick.
Hey, can we talk? Did you see? I mean, everyone's worried about this. Dodgers lost last night.
Yeah.
Did you see the final play
saw
of this
it.
game?
No, I just I know those 4-2. I just saw the score.
Padres clinched the postseason on a triple play.
It was sick.
Oh, I didn't
It's
see that.
Finished the game with a triple play. Machado, ball comes to third, man. Tags third, just a bullet to second, and I forget. Cronenworth makes the turn, but
Oh, we got it.
It's a nice play, man.
Rojas on the ground at third. Machado touches third, fires to second. Out at first. Oh my goodness! It's a triple play. It ends the ball game. The San Diego Padres have clinched their spot in the postseason.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah, I don't want to see that team early.
No.
No, they scare me.
Yeah, we've been talking about it for like a month now.
They scare me.
Yeah.
I'm not worried about the Mets. I don't think the Mets have
Not
any.
a
Hey, the
pitching.
Mets better worry about the Braves. What are they? Game and a half up
Yeah,
on the Braves right
yeah.
now?
Should be a swing week.
If I'm a little worried, it's the pot. Like I want Phillies Dodgers in the worst way because I think Phillies Dodgers is just an epic baseball series.
Yeah, it's
like it's an
entertaining.
all-time baseball series.
Got history behind it, too.
I was looking up different Padres or Dodgers, Philly stuff. Can we? Now's not the time, but just table this idea.
Yeah.
That Dodger Stadium is on 1000 Vin Scully Boulevard. Can we just change Citizens Bank Park from one Citizens Bank Boulevard to one Harry
were
Callis
spot on.
Boulevard or one Harry Callis Way?
Yeah, you're spot
Like
on.
if they do that for Dodgers and Vince Scully, I think we should do that for Citizens Bank Park.
I agree, man. Harry Cowell's so important for so many years. That'd be a great idea to have it as 1 or 1000 Harry Cowell's Way.
Yeah, get off the Citizens Bank
By the way,
Park Boulevard or whatever.
I saw King Callis on Saturday at the
he sing?
racetrack.
Oh,
Yeah.
he sing up there?
Yo, what a voice
Dude,
he's got.
Dude,
Yeah,
at
at the Pennsylvania Derby.
that guy
Pennsylvania
belts
PA
it
Derby.
out. He's like
He's got
an
a great
opera
voice.
singer, right? Or
God.
something?
Yeah, he's got a great voice.
That family.
Well, he was playing Vegas.
He's an okay poker player too.
Is he really?
Yeah, he's always in the World Championship or World Series of Poker.
A
I see him on,
Renaissance man.
see him on TV because I watch poker games if I can't sleep on TV. He's always in poker TV game shows.
Is he really?
Yeah.
You watch poker?
Just to
Yeah.
go to sleep. He watches poker.
I play poker, man. I get in some tournaments.
I could tell. You know what? Now that I think about it, you with the sunglasses. Are your glasses here?
No, earbuds.
You
in,
look like a poker
sunglasses
player.
on.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I do okay.
You're putting down a Bitcoin.
No,
in the
you
game.
look like. The only thing is, you don't have an attitude, do you?
No,
Like some of
I'm
these
very-
dudes
I'm very quiet
who
when I
play
play.
poker.
Like Jimmy
I
Butler?
hate it.
Good dude. Like these dudes deserve to get knocked out.
Yeah, I would agree. And that's half the battle when you're in these tournaments is dealing with these annoying people. So that's why you got to put the earbuds in and just zone out.
Oh.
Oh, so they and that
They're
what's that?
obnoxious. They try and they want to needle you, some of them, and get you off your game. So you just got to try and
So you've been in. Have you ever won?
like come in third at the Tropicana. I go to tournaments down there.
Really?
Mhm.
I didn't even know this about
yeah.
you.
Yeah,
I didn't even know it.
I'm a slow player, so you know,
All right.
yeah, it's all right.
That's pretty good,
It's
man.
the best way because you get a $120 tournament. It lasts like 4 hours if you're okay, and $120 for 4 hours at the casino, you're getting out of fine. Even if you don't win, I've
Yeah.
lost $120 in 4 hours. I'm fine
Yeah.
with that.
While
Oh
we,
yeah. Well, by the way, you leave it in 3 seconds. You can lose that.
While we wait for Brad there, so apparently, news out of Ottawa, Claude Giroux's car was stolen. His wife put a tweet out this morning. Apparently, they've been trying to get a hold of Ottawa police. Man's got his car stolen. Like, he's the best player one of the best players in the Senators.
Trying to get a hold of Ottawa police. What are they on vacation? Are they an away message?
Dude,
I'm
that's
trying to get a hold of him.
I can't imagine they're that busy in
I know.
Ottawa.
I know. What are you doing?
Canada's pretty chill.
That's pretty nuts. All right. Coming up at
Trying to get a hold.
that's insane.
Trying to get a hold of the brain, too.
All right. So coming up at 10 o'clock, we're going to talk to Jeff McLane. The
Yeah,
brain's
Jeff.
link. Something's going on with the brain. I don't know. I mean, God love him.
Brain.
Just-
We got him. Hey,
You got
he's
him?
here.
Oh,
Yeah,
thank
yeah.
God.
Brought to us
figured it
by
out.
Bet Parks Sportsbook Casino app. Here he is, the brain.
Brain.
Red, the brain finder.
What happened, brain? Brain, you're
Are
not
you?
there.
Am I? Do you see me or no? Am I on?
No, we don't see you, buddy. Now we only see a part of your face. Try.
That was Andrew.
That was Andrew.
That was my face. Yeah.
All right. I'll fill in. Let me ask you a question, Anthony.
Okay, but just a couple things real quick. We got him again. All right, there you go.
Hey.
Sorry, man. I don't know what was
Here-
going
here's
on.
the
I
thing.
apologize
We
to
got,
everyone.
we got it at 6:00 tonight. We got a show, and that's going to go
I can't
over
wait.
the whole weekend's card. Okay.
Yeah, I can't wait.
All right. So just make sure we're all set to go before
I
the
promise
show
you we
starts
will be. Don't worry.
tonight from Parks in Ben Salem. Real quick, because we don't have a lot of time, and
Yeah.
we'll go over the whole card tonight. So make sure you're watching 6:00, and then you'll be able to download it and watch it whenever you want. Give us what are you thinking tonight, baseball wise? The race is heating up. Last night, San Diego, we just saw the triple play.
Yeah, it was crazy. Look, San Diego. I mean, Anthony, I think they have the best record in Major League Baseball since the All-Star break. And your boy next to you, I think, if I remember correctly, it was probably about 6 to 8 weeks ago. VG goes, guys, what do you think about San Diego? I think that's a live bet, and I actually bet it literally the day before myself.
Wow.
And it was a good call by VG. He was talking about that. Look, it's an interesting race. I can't believe, again, what the Tigers have done, guys, to me is the craziest thing I think I've ever seen. Here's a team that was, what were they, like 15 games out a month ago? I don't think, remember when Anthony, back in 1978, the Yankees won the division against the Red Sox when Bucky Dent hit that home run?
Bucky Dent.
Yeah, Bucky freaking Dent. But has there been a situation, I'm curious on this, guys, where teams come from further back than the Tigers have this year? I'd like to know. I don't know the exact number they were back, but they're going to do it. They're up by 2 games over the Twins, and they play the White Sox the last 3. This thing's done as done can be.
Shocked to see those.
It's amazing to me what they've been able to accomplish.
Those, I was actually honestly shocked to see. I saw the standings this morning. I was like, the Tigers? I had to blink twice because I could not believe that they were in the wild card spot.
Do you think do they worry you? Do you think they're a team that can do some damage?
Well, here's the thing with the Tigers. Here's how they've done it, VG. Like their bullpen, you can't name one guy on their bullpen. It would make it a challenge, right? Like a scavenger hunt. Name one Detroit Tigers bullpen guy. You're going to hear crickets, right?
I can't.
But
even
every one of
name
these
starter other than Scooble.
Scooble, right? Well, that's the beauty of this team is they basically have a bunch of guys that have an ERA of like not very low. They just come in and they do these bullpen games and they just all these guys you haven't heard of will pitch 2 innings here or 1 inning here or 1 1/3 there. Before you know it, the game's in the 8th inning. Look, they have enough to get there. Now they just brought up. They have a guy named Jackson Jobe, who's the #1 pitching prospect in baseball now that Paul Skeens has graduated into the major leagues, obviously. And Jackson Jobe, they just called up. So that may be a shot in the arm that they, a guy that he's like their Andrew Painter, so to speak. And he's the #1 ranked guy.
Everybody tells you he's got a ridiculous arm, really, really live, the whole thing.
Yeah, and I think they just called him up. But can the Tigers do it? Listen, when Tariq Skubal pitches, look, there's 3 guys you would say, right? When Skubal pitches, when Sale pitches, and when Zach Wheeler pitches, those 3 days, those teams, unless they're facing each other, are probably the 3 best teams in baseball. So look, and Tariq Skubal's pitching in a best of 5 guys, and you have to face them twice. That's a daunting task because if you go 1-1, you're feeling fortunate, you'll probably win, but will you even be able to get a game off the guy? I think he's 19-3. So they're absolutely scary, especially in a shorter series.
Yeah, they're absolutely frightening. I don't remember a team like that. I don't. I try to think about it. It's a great story. They're a great story, man. They're a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's very impressive.
Do you have any plays tonight?
In baseball, it's fun. I got a good bet for you. That is, let me look this up real quick. I want to just give you the data. It was 27-2, and it's been the last 5 years. It's been an 84% winning bet. And the bet is Zach Eflin, our old friend, under 1.5 walks. Under 1.5 walks, you're getting juice on this bet. He's 27-2 at under 1.5 walks. He's become like Greg Maddux in terms of his control. I say that now he's going against the Yankees. He's going against the Yankees, who obviously walk more than anyone else because of Aaron Judge and Juan Soto. So I get it. I get why you're taxing it, but here's a guy who just never seems to do it. He's faced the Yankees obviously a bunch, Zach Eflin. He still goes under every time against them even.
Wow.
So I like Zach Eflin under 1.5 walks. Look, the Phillies tonight, you have Sanchez going against Assad. I mean, I think the line right now on Parks is about $1.80. To me, I would lean Cubs. I think that line's a little bit too low. Yeah, minus 180 is pretty strong. That's saying the Phillies win this game 2 out of 3
times.
At
home.
I'm not a game I bet. But I thought the line should be closer, maybe $1.68, $1.69.
Really, I actually think it would be closer to 2-1. Well,
I guess the market's agreeing with you, Anthony. Again, but it's hard to go. You got to think like this: The Phillies aren't going to win 108 games this year, right? They're going to win about 95.
No, listen, I get your point. You don't want to lay that juice. I completely get it.
But it's not a game I bet. Again, yesterday we took the Cubs. Now the Phillies actually played more guys than I was expecting yesterday. I thought we would get a situation where they would rest some of their main guys, but actually, they used the great Taijuan Walker in relief.
Yeah.
Yesterday was the game to take the Cubs. This would just be a small opinion.
All right, tonight we'll do the show. Football.
Yeah, I have a bunch of stuff.
Every game, college,
give you a bunch of stuff.
NFL.
Give you a bunch.
Well, we're going to go through it all tonight, 6 o'clock. Mark your calendars. Thank you, buddy. We appreciate it.
Appreciate you guys. Be good, guys.
All right, see you. By the way, it is a Bet Parks Wednesday. So many ways to win on the Bet Parks Sportsbook Casino app. Coming up, Jeff McLane, one of my favorites. We're going to talk to Jeff coming up about the Birds and the whole situation. But don't forget, the Birds right now a 2.5-point road dog at Tampa. Totals 45. Bet more than just the score. You got TDs, rushing, passing yards, sacks, interceptions, you name it. Thursday Night Football, Giants, Dallas. Right now, Dallas is a 5.5-point favorite against the Giants. Join me now on the BetPark Sportsbook Casino app, the only online casino and sportsbook that I recommend and use. BetParks has your seat also with a live dealer for all your favorite classic casino games. Right on your phone, you play live dealer blackjack, craps, roulette, you name it, while you're watching a game. Bet on all your favorite sports, the Birds, pro football, college football. Make your downtime fun time. All right, you can play hundreds of exciting online slots. The new Peaky Blinders game, based off the TV show, my favorite. Coming Saturday. All right, you download the app right now, and you can get up to $1,000 casino bonus back if you're down the first 24 hours. See betparks.com for details. Got to be 21 in PA, New Jersey, Michigan. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Time now for your Glad. Tell us about Glad Hair Restoration.
Yeah, Glad Hair Restoration, established by the late Dr. Paul Glad, and I'm too late for it. It's now part of the Morgenstern Center. Dr. Morgenstern's a nationally recognized specialist and among the few surgeons in the country who's trained in ocular facial plastic surgery, facial cosmetic surgery, and general trauma surgery. Dr. Glad and Dr. Morgenstern shared a remarkable bond that spanned many years as colleagues and friends, from collaborating on critical research studies to working together in the operating room. And what makes Glad Hair Restoration better? Well, it's the same peerless approach to care, same expert team, same unmatched Glad system, same state-of-the-art location, same stellar results. Each member of this exceptionally trained team brings 30-plus years of industry experience, and hair restoration is all they do. And what's cool about them, if they don't think they can help you, they'll let you know, as they told me to beat it. I'm too far gone. Glad Hair can help during all stages of hair loss with leading-edge treatments for prevention and restoration, including laser light therapy, non-invasive TED treatments, and vitamin supplementation. Each patient receives a complimentary one-on-one consultation to pinpoint your best course of treatment. A patient advocate works with you from the first phone call to the last follow-up visit. And Glad Hair isn't just about restoration, it's about innovation. Their breakthrough treatments really do dramatically change lives. Change your hair, change your life. Bald is now optional. If you want to improve how you look and how you feel about yourself, Glad Hair is the right treatment for you. Regain that confidence. Visit gladhairmctr.com or call 610-980-4000 to get started.
All right, VG. Thank you, buddy. This portion of the program brought to you by TrueMark Financial Credit Union. Go to TrueMark.com/PHLY to see the credit union difference today. Now, joining us, I in fact love talking football with him. He's a great reporter for the Inquirer. Been doing it a long time, man. And he's a great follow. Everybody should be following him. He is, of course, Jeff McLane. Jeffrey, good morning, buddy.
Good morning, Anthony. What's up?
So here's the thing. Last night, I'm at dinner at the saloon. And the entire conversation was about Sirianni. And like the whole restaurant was talking about Sirianni. And the question was not, what about where they're going, where they're headed? It's just, when is he getting fired? I don't think I've seen this at this juncture of its season with a team 2-1, where the whole town is asking about the future of the head coach. It's bizarre, Jeff. Listen, the Eagles are dramatic, and it had some crazy storylines. This is a unique one.
Yeah, I mean, especially when they're 2-1, right? I mean, if they win next week against the Buccaneers, the 3-1 head into the bye. I mean, that's probably where a lot of people would have had them at this point heading into that break. And so it's a little, yeah, I mean, I agree. It's a little premature, perhaps. I think the big question with Sirianni is not really what the fans think, or not necessarily even what the players think. It's what does Jeffrey Lurie think? And I think that's kind of what's getting lost in the conversation with Nick. And that's why I've kind of focused so much on how he's handled fourth downs, because right now that's his primary domain when it comes to the game. And you and I know how important that is to Jeffrey, and the analytics behind it and the aggressiveness that he loves to see out of his head coaches. And quite frankly, it's been inconsistent.
No, and it feels like he's swimming right now. I mean, for everything else aside, you look at him and those decisions, it feels like he's trying to hit a 5-run home run, right? Like that old saying, like every call, like the call before halftime was absurd. I mean, to get one shot at 7, you risk it all. It really was, it was silly. And it was born of someone that you could see is completely swimming in his mindset.
Yeah, and I've said as much myself, that I feel like he's in his head a little bit when it comes to some of these calls, and he knows how much attention are being paid upon them, not just by the outside world, but again inside that building by Jeffrey Lurie. So that makes me question about where he is in terms of the consistency behind those types of plays and the calling behind them. He's been among the most aggressive fourth down coaches in the NFL since he's became a head coach in 2021. He's been among the most successful. Now he's benefited from the tush push, but as someone even asked me I pointed out last week, I guess it was on Twitter, it's just I'm not going to hold that against him just because he has a great play that the rest of the league hasn't really caught up to, or not in terms of how to run it and also in terms of how to stop it. That being said, it hasn't been as clean this year with that play. And that's why, even beyond the decision to go for it there, Anthony, the play call and the fact that he I wouldn't say he overruled Kellen Moore, but he interjected himself into that, as he has the right to. He's the head coach. But the call behind it was the fake tush push, which they've had success with in years past. But that was when they were so overwhelmingly successful with just the basic tush push. They have not had that kind of success. So for me, that call just didn't make much sense in that situation. And the Saints were there to stop it. They read it.
Yeah, and listen, I understand the fourth down, and we know what Jeffrey likes. Like, Jeffrey likes aggressiveness on fourth down. He likes a passing game, but sometimes you're not built to do that, right? And this is where I think the Eagles really need to come to an understanding of who they are. And the truth of the matter is, they're more of a Jim Harbaugh team, the way they're constructed, than they are of some swashbuckling go for it on 4th and 4 than they were 2 years ago. 2 years ago, they had defenses on their heels, right? Like, they didn't know how to stop that read option, the RPOs, the RPRs. They didn't know how to do that. And so, yeah, it made a lot of sense to go for it on 4th and 3 because they were getting chunk plays. They had a much easier time throwing the football. Defenses were off balance, but that's not the case anymore. And who they are now is a team with a really good offensive line and a great running back.
And, we saw at least them transitioned into that in the second half when things, it was too much was being asked of Jalen. Again, he was making mistakes. And of course, you had the injury. You didn't have the injury to Devontae yet, but you were still without AJ. Britton Covey, I know, say what you want about Britton Covey, but he's been a favorite target of Jalen Hurts these last few games. But they went to Barkley, as they should have, probably a little earlier. And that's going to be the real question, Anthony, is what's this offense going to look against this Bucs team with Devontae almost definitely out, Covey's definitely out. And my feeling with AJ, it's going to be touch and go here. They're not going to try and push him with the bye the following week. I think he's going to try and go practice this week, but I don't think, it's a fact that he's going to play Sunday, even if he's feeling, close to 100%. They don't want to push it. Anyway, so the real question here is what's this offense going to look like with not a lot of receivers? I mean, but I know what you're saying. Beyond that, it should look like this, even when they have AJ and Devontae back. I don't know how much it should look like that when you have those types of receivers. You have Dallas Goedert. But it goes back to not only just the offensive line and what you have at running back, it goes back to the quarterback. I mean, has he earned the right to drop back as much as I guess you would think that they would like to? And the other question, too, is like Kellen Moore has a reputation for kind of getting away from the run.
Yes.
Egregiously.
Yes.
A word that you love to use. And so I wonder if that's going to come into play here, too, down the stretch. Or at least not down the stretch, during these next several weeks and into the latter parts of the season.
Yeah, and listen, I completely agree with you. I think if you're going to look and judge this offense of its strengths and weaknesses, and let's take it all healthy with A.J. Brown and Devontae and the whole thing, it's still better to not have Jalen throw the football 30 times. Jalen's better when he's working with a run game that is dialed up. And you have that with Barkley. So I don't even understand why it's even an issue. The way this offense should work is Barkley's your feature back. You don't need to get cute with it. Like the RPO on the first play of the game was just ridiculous. He's a better runner when he's going downhill. He's ahead of steam. And you play off, there's a reason why the run always opened up the pass. Right now, you have two great receivers and Goddard, who they didn't use mysteriously up until last week. So the offense should be really potent with a run game first. You can just mix things up all you want. That's why I don't even think it's a big deal. You just shouldn't throw the ball 35 times when you have Saquon Barkley and this O-line.
Yeah, and what's interesting about this run offense is when with Jalen in 2021 and 2022, it was that. That zone read and RPO element was what opened up the running for the running backs for Miles Sanders and for DeAndre Swift. And the reason why they kind of went on from DeAndre Swift was if you look at the Eagles running backs yards after contact, it was among the lowest in the NFL. They have such a great offensive line. The Eagles looked at that. They just thought they weren't getting enough out of those running backs. And something had to do with the fact that teams are just picking up on the zone replay. I mean, they know how to defend that now. They have an extra defender over top of the guy that's going to be red, the unblocked defender. It's not really super hard for teams to stop that now. Obviously, you need the personnel. There's a bunch of more involved in that. But what you have now with Saquon is it's like, if anything, it would be Saquon who opens things up for Jalen in the run game. Because he's so good and so fast and so productive. So you're right. They don't have to I don't think they have to bring in that element as much into the read part of it as much into the offense, because you have someone as good as Saquon. And it'll be interesting to see if they kind of rely on that a little more. And, look, you have Stoutland who really kind of dresses up. There's only so many run plays that you could have in the offense. But Stoutland, very good job of making things look different. Ride that a little bit. You and I have gone back and forth over so many years about how favoring the run over the pass, passing the ball to set the run late in the games. I get all that, and I'm a pass first guy.
So am I.
You gotta look at your personnel. You gotta look at your personnel. You are. You love in that. You believe in that philosophy when it comes to offenses.
I do. I'm a pass first guy. Like we've talked about this. Except, that's not who Jalen is. If you give Jalen a clean pocket, right, he can go down the field and drop it in a bucket for you. But when it's 3rd and 7, that's not who he is, man. He's not. Look at when he scrambles, right? Very rarely does he move to throw. He moves to gain yards, right, to get out. He did a couple things I liked last week. He went left. And he found Devontae. But that's not really who he is. He's not a guy that should be throwing a ball that many times, like airing it out. And that's why I don't understand why you're even forcing it, because the owner likes that style. It's antithetical to who you are. And
you
you
got to
can win the other way.
Yeah. I agree. Obviously, look, the defense a lot of times is going to dictate what you do.
Yeah.
Right. The personnel should dictate what you do, but so there's a lot more involved in it in terms of just Jalen or what have you in terms of like what's going on up front in the offensive line. But Fred Johnson and Tyler Steen did a really nice job.
Were awesome.
Yeah. So you had in essence the ability to still do what you wanted to do offensively. We'll see what happens this weekend if neither of those guys can play, what they have in store. But yeah, I'm with you. Me, I just try and kind of keep it right down the middle in terms of what I think could happen or not. And what'll be interesting to me is doing the reporting to find out if this is something that will happen and whether it's something that the team wants to happen and the players and what happens, as we go here in the next several weeks.
So what's kind of ambiguous is what's Nick's responsibility, right? Like when it comes to, like we heard that he was not in meetings with Jalen in offensive meetings. He'd poke his head in, right? Poke his head in on a receiver meeting, and now we hear, well, it's collaborative. What's the real, and as well as I do, that every coach is always going to take the heat off of his OC. Like, yeah, that was me. I did that, because that's what head coaches do, whether to tell them what really happened or not. What have you been able to find out as far as how collaborative is it? What is Nick really doing? You have a clear understanding?
I think some of it has to do with the way they're presenting this and communicating to the media, to the fans through the media about how it is being played out. And I think Nick probably hasn't been the best with the messaging about it. I mean, I'm surprised that he kind of came out, like you said, he was kind of sticking up for Kellen in with that, but I think he kind of opened up a can of worms too when he said, "Oh, I made that call." Well, then then my question has to be, and it was to Kellen, it's just like, well, how does that happen? I mean, does it? And Kellen did a very good job of, I thought, explaining it, or at least kind of like tampering down any kind of inflammatory, speculation that could be made about it in terms of like, this is pretty much similar to where everywhere I've been before in terms of the operation. He's called plays. Have an offensive-minded head coach that, at least in Dallas with McCarthy, that can step in and overrule or make decisions on this, that, or the other thing. The collaboration, I guess, was probably he meant more in terms of game planning and maybe, oh, hey, I see this over the course of a game. Maybe pay attention to this and that. But my question to Kellen when he was bringing up the collaboration thing was like, okay, that's fine with Stout and Jason Michaels, et cetera, giving you information about what tendencies, et cetera. Nick is the head coach. I mean, he has authority over you. So when he steps in, you have to listen, right? So, what is that process like? And how much is it happening over the course of a game? And, good teams or like, Andy Reid does a very good job of like, kind of like making it seem like the operation is a certain way when we all know that it's probably not exactly that way. I know what I'm talking about. Like when they had the enemy there or they had Doug there, right? It was, how is this operation working? And it was ultimately Andy was really just running.
He did everything. I mean, he propped up those guys and wanted to get them jobs because he's always like that. But you're spot on with that. Spot on.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how, that plays out and when Nick says he's made a call, when he hasn't made a call. Look, I as far as I understand, Kellen is calling the plays. He's running the offense. I mean, the scheme is mostly his. I mean, you could see leftovers from the Nick era. And in fact, I mean, a lot of the run pass option zone read stuff is, again, those plays, every team runs them, et cetera. And Kellen ran a little bit of them with Dak Prescott, but the draw plays were definitely still left over from Nick's offense. So there's still some of that in there, but right now it's definitely Kellen for the most part. It's just, and it's fair to question is like, what is that dynamic when we've already seen several times now where Nick has interjected himself?
Yeah. Especially when we heard, well, he's not in on me. He's poking his head in. It's like, what, like, wow. All right.
Well, it was like I asked him like late last year. It was like, when I just started kind of hearing, or I knew a little bit about like the disconnect between Nick and Jalen. It was like, okay, when are you guys meeting? Because it's your offense, and they both had kind of differing answers about when they actually met together to go over the offense. It was bizarre to me, and so trying to get straight answers on where Nick is kind of, where is he going over the course? Is he sticking his head in every meeting? Is he sticking his head even more so in the offensive meeting? Is he doing so more now because he feels like he has to? Those are all fair questions to ask. And obviously I think we'll find out more as we go along here.
You know what's weird is that it feels a little, now it's different, and I Lord hope that it doesn't go down that road, but there's some Wentz comparisons. Like, do you remember when we found out Doug wasn't talking to Wentz during the week?
Yep.
It was so weird. The Dougie P, Nick, Wentz, Jalen, there's a weird similarity that's there. Do you see it?
Well, I mean, different people.
But you get
I get what you're saying. I mean, if there's any similarities, I see it's just, it goes back. It goes, well, who's still been here for both tenures? Like the owner and the GM. It's like, how are you handling your franchise quarterback, and
right.
How much are you giving him in sway, et cetera? And I think that was a problem. Everyone had said eventually, and as I kind of sleuthed out there for a while, it became a problem with Doug. It was, oh yeah, we're meeting every Thursday. We're having these powwows. And then like I found out like a year later, they weren't doing that anymore. Oh, why not? Oh, well, we're good. We don't have to do it. No, it foretold that there was a disconnect between the quarterback and the head coach, obviously, and a relationship that when things were stressed in 2020, there was almost no going back, especially after he benched him. With Jalen and Nick, there's some similarities there. You brought up Doug, and I've been having in my mind all morning what's going on down in Jacksonville, because it seems like just a little bit of a repeat.
I know. Lawrence going sideways.
Right. I'm just like, Press Taylor has got quite a rabbi, quite a benefactor in Doug Peterson. But to get back to the Eagles here, it'll be interesting to see how that whole dynamic plays out. And, if it does come down, let's see how the season plays out. But if it does come down to, it's the head coach or the quarterback sort of thing,
right.
Who's got more tied to him? Who's got more tied to,
Well, and the other thing, it's impossible not to feel him, but there is a Belichick presence at NFL Films, right? And it's 25 minutes away. And you feel the pride. Like I know I feel that presence. I don't know how seriously Jeffrey would go there, but having one of the GOATs of all time being so close, there is a kind of presence there.
Yeah, and we know this past offseason they made some sort of connection to Bill. But I know that I'd reported that they definitely talked about the possibility of letting Nick Sirianni go and the possibility of maybe pursuing a Bill Belichick. Jeffrey has a lot of admiration for Bill. I don't know if you saw last week, Bill on a podcast was asked about like teams that he liked their process in terms of their management, and mentioned the Eagles, and even mentioned that the addition of Bryce Huff was a good move. I don't think there's anybody who thinks that. But I do agree with you. There are a bunch of factors that could keep Jeffrey from wanting someone like Bill Belichick to come in and change everything and only have a couple of years probably left of coaching. So, but let's just put that on the side for now.
Yeah, because all that said, so let's say they lose, doesn't set up well, don't look well. The setup doesn't look good for them on Sunday. Bucks coming off that horrible loss. They were listless, all the injuries. So they said they're 2-2, going into the bye. You come out and look, you're healthy. You get A.J. Brown back. It looks like, Fangio has a feel for the defense. Jalen Carter can be a game wrecker. We saw that on Sunday, right? I love Kenyon Mitchell. Zach Baughn's been terrific. So if you get the defense kind of fixed somewhat, you look at the offense and you get A.J. Brown back, this team should still win the division or at least compete for it.
Yeah, I mean, look, I had 10 wins, and I had that being enough to win the division. I think right now I kind of feel comfortable with that prediction. There's still a lot to play out here and injuries. Look, they have had a bunch of injuries all of a sudden. They haven't had anything that's a kind of a season wrecker in terms of specific starters. So that's good. But yeah, the talent is there, as you mentioned, defensively. And Jalen Carter should be able to play that way he should be able – he has the talent. He should be able to wreck games. But so my question is, why didn't he do it the first 2 weeks? Atlanta, Chris Lindstrom's a good guard. First game, they doubled him a fair amount. But, if he's getting double, why aren't other guys getting freed up? So, my question is, it's just 1 week. I'm not going to go overboard on the defense figuring things out. In fact, I just was completely shocked that the Saints did some of the things that they did when the Eagles had shown that they couldn't. Now Vic, to his credit, made these changes. He had Milton Williams on the edge at the expense of Bryce Huff in 4-down looks. They had, they made sure that Zach Baun could get down in certain looks and be that fifth lineman, even if they were 4-4-2 in nickel. Vic, Vic's a professional defensive coordinator. And I knew that there was going to be a little bit of kind of feeling out process for not only him, but for the players in terms of learning the scheme, but him also knowing his personnel. And, they made a pretty quick hook on Bryce Huff to his credit. They decided in training camp that Devin White wasn't good enough. Vic, they're letting Vic run his show and making personnel choices that maybe in the past, maybe they'd ride these guys a little longer. I think what you're going to see Huff, they may give him a little more of an opportunity to run downs, but I think it's going to be what he was in New York as we go along here, just situational pass rusher.
Hey Jeff, we know about the struggles with Jalen and Nick and the relationship. When you're down there, what's his mindset like so far this year? Do you think Jalen's in a good spot and comfortable with where everything is?
I feel like he's better than he was last year, even at this point when they were winning. Because I kept hearing things very early that Jalen was different, as I reported several times, especially as the season went along and things started kind of imploding. Because at first I was like, well, okay, whatever, they're still winning, and then everything kind of fell apart, and you're like, okay, well, what's Jalen doing to kind of help this from wrecking? And he signed a big contract. A lot changed for him based off that. You feel like you have to kind of live up to it, be the man. Jalen was coming off an MVP season. I think he obviously a confident guy. He thinks that he can do play at a certain level. I think it was just kind of a guy coming to grips with what he is capable of and what he's not capable of. And in his defense, the scheme wasn't helping him either.
No, it wasn't.
But from what I gathered, there were conversations had last offseason, Jalen, you need to be better at this. And that's just kind of the behind the scenes stuff in terms of opening yourself to everyone in the locker room, doing a little extra with some of the guys that maybe typically you don't, taking a little more accountability, talking a little more when they need you to talk. And a big example of that was after the Falcons game when he just took the bull by the horns and was delivered it pretty much from what I understand. He was pissed off after the game and basically let the team know it. And they came back and won the game. I don't know if that was a direct result of that, but what I was told was that was definitely a change in Jalen. And some of it has to do with just an evolution and maturing, and no more Jason Kelsey and no more Fletcher Cox.
You're forced into it.
Yeah, well, you're partly forced into it, and maybe you feel a little more comfortable. There was definitely probably disconnect with him and with Fletch, and maybe the fact that he's not there, just Jalen feels a little more comfortable speaking up. Yeah, I think that from what I understand, Jalen, has done a very better job, and we'll see. Maybe that's helped him in the adversity that he's already seen these first few weeks. I don't think he's going to be as bad as he's been in these first 3
No,
weeks.
I think he cleans it up. I agree with you. Because normally, like it seems like he's more of an anomaly. He's not reckless. He hasn't been reckless with the football like he has in the first couple of games. So I think that kind of takes care of it. I think he kind of rectifies.
Yeah, I mean, but the question is just like this. My thing is that the excuses have to stop for someone in his 5th year. And
yes,
like I just
agreed.
Just try and like the first interception to Devontae. He didn't run a great route. I understand that, but you look at it from the end zone, and I talked to a few people that are like, yeah, it was a little on Devontae, but it's also, I mean, Jalen has to do a better job of throwing that quicker or throwing in a better spot, and I mean because Tyron was sitting on it, so it's just, and it's ultimately on him when he's throwing it, and I know that's tough, but you're the quarterback; it has to be on you. So
exactly, I think he's late at times. The one thing that you see is he's late.
When you're watching him go through his reads, it's just, and then you watch other quarterbacks, and it's just like, it's just a tick. There's so much he does well, and he does throw a pretty good ball. Like I really think that's one of his strengths. Is his ball placement. So, and obviously he's been a little more effective running the ball of late these last few weeks. If he can get
and I thought he did well. When it's a quick read, ball's got to be out. He's been on target, man. He sees the blitz.
Yeah, because they're giving him more answers, hot reads, something they didn't really have, and something had to do with Kelsey and whatever we've talked about that. But yeah, they're giving him better answers versus the blitz, so his numbers are better there. I mean, the pieces are there, but it's just like a question of, and as we start at the top, it's just like how much are they going to be giving him this offense at the expense of when you have that offensive line and Saquon Barkley.
Exactly. And that's why I keep going back to you're a downhill running team, be a downhill running team, and that means you're going to have to punt. That means you're going to have to take field goals. When you see a game the way it's going, you got to read the game more and not just, we're aggressive. That's what we do. Jeff, you're the best, man. I love you. I love our conversations. So I really enjoy them, man. Thank
Appreciate
you.
Miss all our conversations, and you always ask great questions.
Thanks, buddy. You're the best, buddy. Thank you. Jeff McLane, Inquirer. Always love his input.
Yeah.
He does such a good job covering the Eagles. Coming up, one of my old friends, and he's a great baseball guy. Oh, man. Bob Nightengale, USA Today. What a great guy. And we got the itch, right? We got the October itch.
October's coming.
So we can't wait to talk to Bob and kind of size up the playoffs. Excited. JP, you got a little FOCO action for us?
Yeah, because it's bird season, right? We're got to get our velour suits on. And right now, FOCO, you can get your velour suits for any Eagles game on Sunday, Monday, Thursday, whatever it may be. You guys want to make sure you are ready to stay styling with all the gear that FOCO has. And, of course, it's Red October. The infamous, the overalls. You saw the bro rocking them last year. My man was going down to CBP with 10 beers in his overalls, all right? It's real deal stuff that they're offering over at FOCO. But FOCO is a leading manufacturer of sports entertainment merchandise. They have a product line that includes apparel, accessories, toys, collectibles, novelty items, and much, much more. They have the best officially licensed gear for all sports and fandoms. Whether you're going to a Phillies playoff game or if you're going to an Eagles regular season game here, now that we're in fall, make sure you guys have all the latest gear with our friends at FOCO. And listen, even if you have that man or woman cave, you want to make sure you have the best memorabilia, all right? Skeeves loves his bobbleheads. FOCO has all the best bobbleheads in there as well. So make sure you guys are keeping up with all the best Philly sports gear. FOCO always has our backs as Philly sports fans, and they have yours as well. Get the best gear all year round by using the link in our description. That link, of course, the link in our description. And make sure you guys are using the promo code PHLY10 once you hit the checkout page. That'll get you 10% off your purchase over at FOCO. So what are you waiting for? Get your velour suits, get your bobbleheads, whatever it may be with their friends.
Velour suits.
It's the best, because they look great. Kelly Green.
A little chilly out. Get the velour out.
Yeah. The velour, though.
Little neck, little chain.
Yeah. Whoa.
You're going back in the
Always
80s, baby.
Cross the line, JP.
All right. Let me tell you about Parks Casino, Street Road, Ben Salem. Pennsylvania's #1 casino. Street Road exit off at 95 and the PA Turnpike. They just had the PA Derby. In fact, JP was there, and it was a blast. Like, what they do at Parks is awesome. It's great dining and great nightlife and incredible shows. Like the concerts, the comedy acts are number one throughout the region. You got to check out the Excite Center, state-of-the-art venue. Tickets on sale right now for these headliners. In fact, tomorrow night, September 26th, Joe Bartnick from the Bill Burr podcast joins Joe Conklin for Comedy Night, which is unbelievable. And we love Joe. We know that. The Juicy Scoop podcast on October 4th with Heather McDonald from Bravo and Chelsea Lately. October 5th, comedian Kev Herrera. October 24th, how about TLC? That'd be fun. November 1st, Invincible, a tribute to Michael Jackson. November 16th, Bret Michaels. November 20th, that's up your alley.
Hair's metal.
Yeah, I know you love your Bret Michaels. November 23rd, comedian Steve Trevino. December 26th, Patti LaBelle.
Nice.
All right.
The queen.
December 13th, the podcast Are You Garbage? Live. That's right, on December 13th. December 14th, comedian Eric D'Alessandro. Parks Casino, this is how you win. That's right, parkscasino.com to buy tickets for all shows. Got to be 21. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. All right, joining us now, this portion of the program brought to us by Rite Aid, your neighborhood pharmacy. Anything you need, go to Rite Aid. I love him, man. He's one of the great baseball writers in the country. You got to read him. Bob Nightengale joins us. Bobby!
Yeah, Bob.
Woo! What's up, buddy?
Bob's got the chain on.
Bobby looks good. Bobby was always a great guy. Always had a great look.
Looking pretty suave today.
You're in Oakland?
Throwing out just for you guys.
You look good, buddy. Were you in Oakland?
Oakland, yep.
What are you doing, the farewell tour?
Yeah, they had about 30,000 last night, have about close to 40 tonight, and then sell out tomorrow. A lot of police. They told the players when that last game's over, run out the field. Don't hang around. Don't take pictures. Get out of there.
Wow, that's wild. What's that like? I mean, that franchise, right? The Oakland A's will cease to exist. That's such a. It almost feels like an played story.
Yeah, I mean, it still exists, but goes to Sacramento. I mean, obviously, it used to be in Philadelphia at one time. It used to be in Kansas City at one time. But yeah, the fans are going nuts. They hate the owner, John Fisher. They don't hit the players. They say, "Hey, we would have come if you spent money." So blame all of this on him. So it's getting ugly. We'll see what happens. Hopefully the fans in the best behavior. But last night you saw people took actually wrenches in the ballpark and they were ripping out the stadium seats.
Oh my God, that's wild.
I'm not even an Oakland fan. His letter that he published yesterday, it was infuriating to me out here.
I hated that letter.
We did our best.
Oh my God, Bobby, that was terrible.
Yeah, he should have done it after the last game. Yeah, bad timing and everything else. People don't want to hear it.
No, I don't blame them. Hey, here in Philadelphia, Red October is already ablaze. They cannot wait for Phillies baseball. First, we talked last year, and you love coming to Citizens Bank Park. The energy, especially during the playoffs, is really unparalleled.
It really is. The only thing close to it probably now was San Diego. I mean, they sell out about every game and very enthusiastic, great crowd. But yeah, I don't know why it's gotten so much better in Philly than it was like from 2007 to 11, but it is. I mean, I think it's the best environment in baseball and the toughest for a visiting team to play. That's why when the Phillies lost those two to the Diamondbacks, it was so shocking.
How do you size up the NL? It's fascinating because you got the Phillies, the Dodgers, and the Padres who end last night with the triple play. And that bullpen is ridiculous. They're playing great baseball. I mean, those three teams look nasty.
Yeah, I mean, you'd much rather be in the American League than the National League. You're absolutely right. Arizona's a sleeper. They can beat up on anybody. Atlanta is always tough. I don't know about the Mets. But Atlanta scares you with that pitching and Chris Sale. But yeah, I mean, it should be great. I don't think I think the Dodgers are overrated. I think that pitching is a mess. I can see them going, one round and out again. The team, if on the Phillies, and they've sent their best scouts on them, the team to watch out for is the Padres. They can be dangerous.
Yeah, I mean, especially because the way they're built, they go back to that pen, man. You go 5-6 innings, and then they turn that thing over to their pen. That's a weapon.
Yeah, but Robert Suarez is struggling a little bit, as you saw last night with the triple play. I mean, they had 3 hard hits against him, and it could have easily been a 4th hard hit. So he is scuffled a little bit. They're going to find what's going on with him. But yeah, a deep bullpen. It's a better team than a year ago. I mean, they dumped Soto. They are a much better team without Juan Soto. That's why it's kind of funny when people say, "Oh, I got to have Juan Soto." Really? Why are the Padres so much better without him than they were with him? So, but they come back now. They're a resilient team, and they got guys clicking.
Let me ask you about the Phillies for a second. Let's start with the pitching. And I think one of the most underrated pitchers is Wheeler. We don't talk enough about Zach Wheeler. I mean, some of the performances this year and last year in the playoffs, I mean, he looks a lot like Halladay. I mean, it's really impressive what Wheeler's done.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, when people talk about, they got Wheeler and Nola, Suarez and Sanchez, but it's a huge drop-off after Wheeler, even in Nola. I agree. And without Chris Sale, he probably would have been the Cy Young winner this year. Been so consistent, too, just like Sale has. But, Sale's numbers are ridiculous and, never won one. But you're absolutely right about Wheeler. I mean, he's a stud.
When you're sizing up the Phils and you're looking at strengths, weaknesses, how's your scouting report look at them and what kind of do you have them as the favorite?
They'll probably be the favorite. I guess the Dodgers would be a favorite. Vegas windows and everything else. If I had to do a favorite right now, I'd do the Padres just because they're consistent. They can win on the road. They won more road games than they have in the franchise history. The only thing that worries you about the Phillies, and this, is that they can be streaky. If that offense, has a couple of bad games, they're in deep trouble. So that's what you worry about, just the inconsistency of that offense.
You know who's been maddening in a lot of ways? He's such a great player, but it's Turner. Because if Turner is raking, they're a completely now all of a sudden they're on side. Schwarber's going to do what Schwarber does. Bryce does what he does, right? And you're going to get Castellanos, real good role player. JT Realmuto, same thing. But Turner's really the key to that lineup as far as producing on the consistent basis.
Oh, I agree. I thought when they signed him, he would be an absolute stud, maybe get a couple MVP awards. But yeah, a lot more erratic than he should be for a young, athletic, shortstop like he is. So yeah, I'm with you. I thought, you expect huge numbers. You expect him to do what, Lindor's doing, things like
yes.
that. And that hasn't happened. I don't know why. But
yeah, that was my next question. How does that happen? How does he just kind of, and it hasn't fallen off the cliff, but again, the spikes, I was trying to make heads or tails of it. I really can't.
No, especially if you're paying a guy, $30 million, you better be a consistent guy. But yeah, I mean, he's young, athletic, is not, his body's not, shouldn't be falling apart. But yeah, you expect more. Maybe it's unfair, but you expect him to be a guy that can hit, 40 home runs and steal 60 bases a year very easily with that speed.
Hey, Bob, we have Wheeler. We kind of underappreciate Nola, and then Sanchez looks like our third. Do you think is that the best starting 3 in the National League?
It may be. San Diego will go with you for Dylan Cease from the White Sox, of course, and then Yu Darvish and Joe Musgrove is very good. But yeah, I think it's better than the Atlanta. I mean, Atlanta's got Sale and Max Fried and the young guy Schwellenbach. But yeah, I would go those 3 for sure. They'd really step up if Ranger Suarez can be back to being the Suarez in the first half.
Who's the third starter for the Dodgers?
That's the thing. I mean, right now it's got lucky they got Jack Flaherty the trade deadline for nothing.
Yeah.
They got Flaherty, they got Yamamoto going second, and then we'll see about third. It's going to be Walker Buehler, which is great if it was Buehler for 2 years ago, but he has not pitched well at all. I don't think we'll see Kershaw. He still hasn't pitched in over a month, so I don't think we'll see him either.
It's amazing how
I'd love to see Kershaw.
Why not? Well, Glass now killed them.
Yeah.
But losing Glass now was just buried them. And Buell again,
they've had like 11 guys going, getting Tommy John surgery. Even guys like Gavin Stone and all these guys. They're scrambling, and they don't have a lights out bullpen. It's a good bullpen, because they got Kopech.
That's a great point.
But it's a little shaky too.
Hey, tell us about the kid in Detroit. They're a great story. In fact, we were talking about it earlier. When was the last time a team rose from the ashes like the Tigers did?
Yeah, I mean, it's probably from when Dave Dombrowski was with the Tigers, back in 2006 and helped turn that thing around. The amazing thing about the Tigers is that, front office can say what they want, but they gave up on the team. I mean, they traded away Jack Flaherty and, Mark Canha. They traded with 4 guys. So they quit on the team. And, no Jack Flaherty was their number 2 starter and taken off. I mean, it actually helped him when Javi Baez got hurt, done for the year. And it helps also, too, that the Minnesota Twins, completely tanked here. Kansas City hit a wall. But, yeah, it's a phenomenal. That Derek Skubal kid, he's from a small place called Kingman, Arizona. It's the place where you stop and get gas on your way to Vegas. That's all it's good for. And this kid's been unbelievable. Never couldn't get a college scholarship out of high school. Went to Seattle University. No one heard of him. And now just a dominant, powerful pitcher.
Dude, he looks like Steve Carlton to me. The way that power lefty with that easy delivery, like there's no jerky motion with it. It's a smooth delivery, and it's hard. He throws hard. He's got a bite on the slider.
Yeah, and a big dude. I mean, just a big, strong kid. He's got a bad foot. I don't know what the proper term is, but when you grow up, it's called a club foot. But he had surgery with that thing too. And but yeah, delightful guy. It's amazing having this kind of success he's had. Remember, the Tigers almost traded him at the deadline. They told teams, "Hey, make offers," so that they're winning despite the whole front office.
I know. I was talking to the Phillies. I'm like, listen, I would went all in on Skubal. Take whatever prospect you want. I would have gave him. Who's the kid? Aren't they bringing up that kid? He's got really the next best pitcher other than Skeens. The kid's got a big arm.
Yeah, I know you're talking about. I can't think of his name either. But yeah, they got a nice bright guy, but it's still a drop off after Skubal. Tell you what, they had Flaherty with them. That'd be a real scary team. But it's amazing what they've done. I mean, I don't see them going far. But the American League's a lot weaker. I mean, when you think about it, I think the only team that can knock off the Yankees is Houston Astros. I think everybody else is really kind of falling by the wayside here.
I got to tell you, I've enjoyed this season. Phillies aside and the hometown thing aside, baseball, the young players in the game today, man, it's awesome. There's so many great young players, like interesting, talented young ball players. The game is, I don't know, I think the game's at a great spot right now. I'm curious, you've been covering it forever. You know everybody in the game. I think it's at a great place. I'm curious what you think.
Yeah, it's really a young man's game for sure. It's amazing. It's like I was with the Brewers a couple of weeks ago. I said, "Hey, got a question for you guys. What do you do with Jackson Churio?" They said, "What are you talking about?" I said, "The kid's 20 years old. There's TV cameras there. He can't drink." So they gave him a little baby cart and stuff. Same thing happened to Jackson Holiday last night with Baltimore. But some of these kids are too young to even drink and do the full celebration. But yeah, I've never seen this much young talent come up at such a young age. Nowadays in baseball, if you're 30 years old, hey, see you later.
Yeah, it's wild.
Hey, Bob, you did a great piece today. It's the anniversary of Tommy John surgery.
Yeah.
Your piece today was really good. And I don't know if you could just touch on like the increase in the amount of pitchers who have it. In your story, like parents are excited when their young kids either have to get Tommy John surgery or they're trying to bring in healthy kids to get Tommy John surgery just to increase velocity and prolong careers. Like, I don't know. What was your feeling coming away from that story you did?
Yeah, it was interesting. Went in thinking, okay, they're going to celebrate the 50-year anniversary of the surgery, and then the doctors are saying, you know what, we're kind of discussing what's going on. These kids just come up and throw as hard as they can and blow out. And then what you're referring to, Dr. James Andrews and a couple of the other surgeons too, said parents are bringing their kids in at 14 years old. Your arm's still growing, and the bones aren't mature, and they say, hey, I think needs Tommy John surgery, and they're happy because they going to have the surgery and make the elbow stronger. And so what they blame themselves is, you know what, we made the surgery too good. So now nobody cares. People go in, you blow, get your money, blow out, big deal, go back in there, it blows out again a few years, then you return. But they made the surgery so good, nobody cares about pitching. You remember Noah Syndergaard with the Mets. I mean, he knew he was going to blow his arm out, what he did. The Mason Miller kid for Oakland.
Yeah.
He goes, he's throwing 104 miles an hour. Okay, how long is this guy going to last? Nobody knows how to pitch anymore. They just throw hard without any idea where the ball's going.
I was amazed when Tommy John agreed to do it. He was given 100-to-1 shot it would work. He's like, oh, I'll try anything.
Yeah, desperate guy. And, as I said, too, thank God that Tommy John threw only about 85 miles an hour. If he threw, 95 to 100, like DeGrom, hey, you probably would have been done. We may never have heard Tommy John surgery because they wouldn't have tried it again.
Yeah, it's wild. I hear. Listen, I have an 11-year-old travel player.
He's already scheduled for Tommy John surgery.
But I see it. I mean, kids are like, parents are like, all right, well, so be it. We'll come back. Now, it's a little older, like you said, but they're like, when they're 14, 15, and they're approaching high school, I mean, I see it. Their parents are being proactive with it. It's wild.
Yeah, and there you go. They've said they've done surgery on kids as young as 12 and 13. Same thing. The growth plate's still not mature and everything else. So yeah, but they say, hey, if you're a young kid, do not throw the ball, over 85 miles an hour. They say you guarantee these kids that throw over 90 in high school, hey, you're gonna hurt your elbow. And they had this perfect game and stuff. They have all the literature on that. Where 10 years ago only like 3 kids that threw 94 miles an hour. Now it's like 55, 60 kids.
Yeah, no, it's out of control. And the thing is, they're throwing so much more because you're playing in all these tournaments. You're playing year round, right? And it's not just pitching, but like you get these kids who pitch, but then they're playing shortstop or playing third or they're playing the outfield, and you're still throwing the ball. Like people, you forget you're still working that arm, that elbow, and that shoulder.
Yeah, that was too much. Remember when CC Sabathia's kid was growing up? The coach would say, "Hey, let's just make him a full-time baseball player," and he goes, Hey, it's football season. He's going to play football. Winter time he's going to play basketball. But yeah, I mean, it's like, hey, do the other sports too. Don't just lock yourself in.
Yeah,
and then you're fried by the time you're a sophomore in high school.
Yeah. Bobby, so great to catch up, buddy. We'll look forward to you. Are you drawing the Phillies assignment? Do you know?
I'm going to do the first 2 in Philly for sure. I'm going back there to D.C. And the first 2 games at Division Series, I'll be there. Awesome.
Well, let me know. We'll go get a pop, all right? Look forward to it.
All right. Sounds great.
We'll bring it back to the old days.
Stay up till 5 in the morning. Perfect.
That's right, brother. That's right. Love you, buddy. You are terrific, man. You're the best baseball writer. We love you, pal. Thank you, Bob.
Take care, buddy. See you, Anthony. Take care, guys.
See. He's just cool.
He was a great road dog with me.
I mean, it's 7:55 in Oakland. He looks like he's been at the casino all night. Like he's been in some poker tournaments.
So Bob used to work for the LA Times.
Okay.
He was in Los Angeles. He was all over. Worked at a bunch of newspapers, but he was covering the Dodgers when I was covering baseball, and I was in New York. And so we'd see each other all the time in all the different All-Star games, playoffs, and we had a bunch of nights till 5.
I feel like baseball rating is different because there's so many games. You see these guys on so many
unpack
nights.
too. Like basketball. When you cover basketball, you're in and out, right? Like you're one night in the hotel. Baseball, you get to unpack. You're in for 3-game series, 4-game series.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're on the West Coast, you're away for 2 weeks.
Yeah,
you know,
Bob rules. He's one of my favorite. Look, he can rock it.
Yeah,
he's got the inside collar's got the different pattern.
Yeah,
so you show that off. He's got the nice chain. He looks like a cool dude.
You like it?
I like Bob. I like Bob's neck.
DG's breakdowns.
Yeah. Bob is cool.
That's beautiful, man.
He does it well.
That is great. All right, you got some nugs before we get out of here?
Yeah, we do run through a couple nugs.
You have a Rite Aid back in the day nug?
We do have a Rite Aid back in the day moment. You're going to love it. Sylvester Stallone makes an appearance. We got Eagles Bucks.
Hey, yo.
Let's go back to Monday Night Football. September 8th, 2003. Sylvester Stallone helps with the intro.
Introduction. Is it close to 50 here, or is he 50?
They're not opposites. They're neighbors, separated by a thin line, by a split second.
So he's not doing the Rocky voice.
1 minute you're on top of the world and everything is going your way. And the Eagles have decisively beaten the Bucs. Closing up the old house in the NFC title game against an opponent you have pummeled time and time again. 4 15-minute rounds and one of you is bound for glory. Then you step across that line and you're down for the count. The Buccaneers are champions.
I love the TV, like the old school TV.
You're off to deliver one final blow and become the Super Bowl champion. From 0-26 to Super Bowl champions. New day, new house, new season. But will it be the same old story? Or will Kroger and Bain trade places again? You and I can't answer that. Only these guys can. Are you hoping for the best? Are you prepared for the worst? Are you ready for some football?
Oh my God!
That's the best him dancing across the ring by himself in the shadows.
Yeah. Oh my God! Are you ready for some football? Sly was a mush, though.
Yeah, he was a mush.
They lose to Tampa to end the vet.
Right.
They
And
open the
They
lid.
bring him out to open the lid.
Here he is, and they lose.
Talk about a rough
Monday night. He was a mush. I asked you guys before the show, non-division, the Eagles' biggest rival. I said Tampa.
I wouldn't have said that, but then thinking about it, looking back, I think you're right. I was looking back at the history, back to like the 70s. We've had issues with these guys.
I mean, there has been. Go ahead.
No, I didn't know about the 70s there. I mean, I had the Saints personally just because of recency bias. But I mean,
what Saints? Other than what?
2006, 2018, those were some hard losses. The regular season losses we've had over the past couple years.
You could say that about the Bucs though too. The last couple of years. With
No, but
the
they
playoffs.
played the Bucs in meaningful
the
games.
Bucs have been
Yeah, I'm just saying
Like,
recency bias. You could say
from
the same thing.
2000 on,
13.
they've played the Bucs many times.
Yeah, it's very true.
Like it's been a kind of.
Like, I don't have a. If I got to think of a name, it's Joe Juravicious. You know what I mean?
Yes!
Yeah.
Like,
Do you
I don't
think
have
they're-
a Saints guy or
Nah, Saints.
Do you think they're bigger
Brad
than the
Johnson.
Patriots though? I think the
Brad
Patriots.
Johnson? Ugh, I hate it. What's that?
I feel like the Patriots are right there.
Eddie Wright's agreeing with
Not
JP
anymore.
in the chat.
Saints?
Yeah, Saints.
I don't see that.
It's
Wow.
painful losses, especially like think about pre-Sean Payton.
Two
Saints
hockey
were
guys.
bad.
Yeah. By the way, thanks to our diehards. We love you guys, diehards. You guys are the best. Yeah, I don't see that.
I think around.
I don't see. I mean, the Saints. What losses? There was Garcia, and that was never going to. They were never going to be whatever. And then the other one was what?
Well, also 2013, where Nick Foles leaves the field with the lead. There was the 2018 game as well.
That was Sproles in 2013. You're right about that. I agree with
Sproles,
you,
no.
JP Sproles. Sproles is an underrated Eagle.
I threw another one at you. What about the Packers?
That's a good one. Green Bay. I always feel like the Eagles play they play the Packers.
Well, I think in 2010, I mean, you brought up the 91 week 1. I mean, that's a terrible moment in Eagles history.
Well, one of the greatest moments was the 4th and 26 against the Packers.
Yeah,
terrible moment.
They played Green Bay and there's been even during the regular season games that we remember against the Packers. These Buccaneers, though, I hate
Buccaneers.
I hate these Buccaneers. It goes back to last year in the playoffs. Baker Mayfield shreds you.
Baker Mayfield.
Look like Aaron Rodgers out there, man.
And don't forget, the first year that Jalen makes the playoffs.
Yeah.
Sirianni's first year.
Todd Bowles had him, man.
They lose to Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
Todd Bowles mocking.
That's what I mean. I don't even think it's close. 2 losses in the last 3 years to the Buccaneers. And then 0-2 was the worst loss, I don't care what anybody says, in the history of this franchise.
I agree.
It happened against Tampa on the day they closed Veterans Stadium. It's still the game that I go, well, I still can't understand how they lost.
Nobody can
There was
understand
10-0.
how they lost.
It was B. Mitch opening kickoff. Deuce runs to the end zone. Interception. Field goal. It's 10-0. How did you lose?
Who was it? Who was the? Was it Rondé Barber? He had the big game.
Yeah, Rondé Barber.
All the way down the sideline.
Another name that stinks.
Horrible. And remember, there was no Trot.
No, I don't know. I forgot about that.
No, Trot didn't play in that game. He didn't come back till the following year. Remember, actually 2 years. That's why Juravicious. That's why there was no Trot in the game.
Trot would have knocked him out in the middle of the field.
Dude, he just ran and ran. Vicious, man.
That was horrible.
He got himself paid after that, right? Got a nice contract from Seattle after that.
Yeah. Who else you got? You got another nug?
I mean, I'll give props. We got a Reed Blankenship nug. I crap on Reed a bit. Not a big fan. Hey, guess who's the highest graded coverage safety in football right now?
Wow, get out.
No way.
Ed Reed Blankenship.
Wow. There you go.
I want you to watch this too. We can see it. BYU this week. Parker Kingston. They're saying it might be the play of the game in college football. See this punt return?
Yes. Yeah. Let everybody see this. It's unbelievable.
So now the punt. And that one might have been touched, maybe. Scooped up by the return man, Parker Kingston. And now he's going to turn the corner. There he goes. Kingston to the 50. Still going. Kingston. Touchdown.
Looked like a disaster. Brings it to the house.
Dude, if I'm
That's unbelievable, too. Yeah. Because he completely reverses field.
Yes.
And he was fast, man.
He's running towards his own end zone at one point. He's like on the 1 yard line and then cranks it.
That was amazing.
Yeah.
Man, if I'm the K-State special teams coach, I'm having an aneurysm on the sideline there.
Without a doubt.
Oh, my God.
Without a doubt.
Let's do one more. 13-year-old, you like youth sports.
I love it.
Jeremy Gohier, Montreal, Hooper.
Oh, dude.
7'3", 13-year-old.
Oh, my
insane. Look at this kid.
What is he eating?
Oh, my God.
That can't just be genetics, man.
Look at the size of kids he's swatting.
He's 13.
He's swatting kids on the way there, dude.
Oh, my God. Silly. They're doing oops. Yeah. He's freaking what, 7th grade?
How do you stop that? What do you have, like 60 points in that game?
That's outrageous.
Yeah, man. Wild.
Unbelievable.
Dominating.
Can we get him on the show?
On that note, I'm thinking Gautier. There's it's hockey.
Yeah.
He's a 7-foot Canadian. Oh my God!
He's a good basketball.
That's going to do it for us, everybody. Always fun, always a blast. Be back tomorrow, as always in the morning. We love you guys. Be careful. Have a great night. We'll see you then.
We all silly like the mayor.